What is it like living in New Cairo, Egypt? Shalom, my name is No Limit Eddie. I'm a 25-year-old American who's been living in Egypt now for the last 3 years, and I'm documenting every moment of my journey here on this YouTube channel. If that's not interesting to you, drop a like on today's video so that YouTube recommends you more content that you'll love. So today, I'm coming to you from Medinati, which is a suburb in New Cairo, Egypt, okay? Now, most of my time, like my main apartment is about 6 hours outside of Cairo. I live by the Red Sea, so that's where I am most of my time, but I've spent collectively months and months living down this side in Cairo. So right now, I'm up here for just about a week to pick up some products, some natural skincare products for my face. All right, but let's talk about, every time I come now, I just say identity, but let's talk about safety, okay? This is the first thing people want to know about. Is Egypt safe, okay? In particular, Cairo. So let's start off with this, okay? I've traveled to maybe 6 or 7 different countries by now, and Egypt is among the safest ones that I've ever been to. Okay, so when I travel to, let's say, for example, Africa, and yes, Egypt is Africa, but I'm talking about sub-Saharan Africa. I've been to Uganda, and I've also been to Tanzania. So when I'm in an Uber there, okay, and I was in Uganda, that was the most recent trip I took. I was in an Uber, and I was like trying to film, record, and the Uber driver literally rolled the window up and said, like, safety for your phone. Okay, every time I'm walking down the street, maybe I'm texting somebody, maybe I'm doing something like that. They're always like, hey, put your phone away. Locals are telling me this, okay? And so I am walking and recording this video on my cellular device. I can hold my phone as far out, as close to somebody as I want to. In my 3 years of living in Egypt, not once has anybody even reached for my phone. I had a situation where I was at a very small shop buying these things called pie. And I ended up leaving my phone on the counter, got distracted, and I left. 30 minutes later, I realized, oh my goodness, I don't have my phone. And I go back to the store. The worker is there, like, waiting for me, and he hands me my phone and says, welcome to Egypt, right? And so things like that, right, happen and occur in Egypt to where I feel extremely safe here, okay? And I'm going to show you guys, like, I feel safe physically, right? Like, I don't feel like anybody's going to come up and, you know, beat me up or do something bad to me with any kind of weapons, but I also feel like my property is safe, right? I've had times where I left my keys on my motorcycle. I come back 2 hours later, my motorcycle is still there. Right? I don't think that can be the same in California, Los Angeles, where I'm from, let alone in a lot of other foreign countries. Okay. Yes, to me, the city looks very nice. It looks very, you know, colorful, lots of grass. So Egypt is not just a desert. Wow, who would have known? So when it comes to safety as well, I think what's important is how do people view you? And so me being in Egypt, okay, there is a large perception from the outside looking in that Egypt is racist. There's a large perception from the outside looking in that Egypt has hatred towards blacks. They're going to spit on you and light you on fire. And there's all kind of stuff that people would say related to, there's the turtle doves, related to life over on this side. Now, I can say in my 3 years of living here, I don't find Egyptians to be racist, okay? I haven't had experiences, and of course, you're going to have racist encounters anywhere you go when you are of this melanation, okay? That's to be expected. We're the seed of Jacob, so it comes with it. However, I don't feel like I've been denied any service. I've been denied any business. I don't feel like I've been so harshly unfair treated that I'm like, let's just go back to America where they're even more racist and they'll openly, you know, gun you down in the streets and get away with it. No, I don't feel that that is the case over here in Egypt. I really don't. And I'm only speaking the truth. Now, will you come across microaggressions? Sure. Especially there's some more hair that got added to this head of mine. The more I've run across little weird instances, in particular here in Egypt, okay? Because one time I was flying. When I was coming back from Uganda, actually, I had braids. By the way, it's Eddie here. It's super loud. I'm in an airport right now, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick message. For those of you guys who are like, okay, I'm in an airport, like I said. How do you travel? How do you do the things that you're doing without ever talking about going to work, without ever talking about having to clock in or clock out for your job or have to ask for time off? Well, I created a free training. It's 10 minutes long and it's in the description of my video. If you always wanted to know how to make money online, well, now is a really good time to learn. Click the link in my description and put your name and email in and watch the free training. So yeah, I have braids. and this is the first time that they ever like didn't give me my passport back right away. And they started asking if I smoke weed or if I smoke shisha and all this different stuff. And they have never asked me that. I've flown in and out of this country so many times. And so I do think there is for sure some level of, I'm not going to say discrimination, but there's going to be some level of he's black, he might do this or he might do that. Now, I didn't notice that until very, very recently when I started to have a lot of hair. So I don't really know. Now, the police. There is a huge police presence over here in Egypt as a whole, Cairo being no exception. So every few feet, you're going to have security posts here inside the city. There's always going to be the police posting up on the streets. The police here are kind of like the military at the same time. So you're going to see them standing outside with shields on, with bulletproof trucks, with AK-47s in their hands. But it's just quite normal, quite calm. I've had tons of interaction with the police here in Egypt, but never once did I feel threatened or unsafe, right? In the States, that's not always the same case because cops have a big ego. So in the States, cops have egos. And so you run into situations where they want to show you they're the boss. They want to show you they're in charge. Right now, I'm going to the main street really quick, guys, so I can show you a little bit more of the city, because everybody's always like, where's all the people? Where's all the people? Because every time I try to film when there's not people, because who wants to just randomly have the camera put on them? Even me, I'm a YouTuber, but if someone is like walking and randomly recording me, I'm gonna feel a little bit weird about it, right? And so I don't like recording with people, but yeah. So I'll show you. So this is a very live and active city. Oh, only the rich live here. There's a crap ton of people in this city, okay? All right, cool. All right, cool. Just wanted to record this, all right, so you guys can see it, to answer, to just knock out some of those weird comments that you get from time to time. All right. Something else that I think is important to mention is that while the police are everywhere and you're gonna, like, there's a large presence of them inside any city you live in Egypt, it's not a police state. This is not like Dubai, where you feel like, okay, if I do something wrong, I haven't been to Dubai, so I can't speak on 100%. This is what I've heard, but it's not a place where, like, if you do something wrong, you feel like, oh, I'm going to go to jail forever. No, people here are very lenient. They're human beings, right? You can kind of get away with most things with just being honest, with just being friendly. You know, I've never seen a police see like pretty nice cars, BMW 420i. I've never seen a police, you know, like really arrest people here. So I'm out on a motorcycle. I get stopped every once in a while. They ask for my license and this and that, and they see it and they go on about their day. Okay, so that's one thing I'll mention as well. Now, so you got a Range Rover here. So there's people with money, but then you also got cars like this, right? So it's a mixture. It's a mixture. You have a wide variety of people. There's a lot of Africans also that live here. They'll kind of come together as a family and they'll rent out a place here. Now, what does it cost to live in a city like Medinity? So these are the buildings, kind of what they look like. There's different sets and things like that. So you can probably rent an apartment in New Cairo as a whole. I would say $450 a month would be a good budget based off of my own experience. Like I said, I don't live full time in New Cairo. It's far more busy. You guys see the city that I'm in, it's a lot more quiet, a lot more chill. This city is nicer for sure, but you do lose the sea, and then you lose kind of like the laid back, relaxed nature of it. You can't really know everybody here because it's just too big. My neighborhood, everybody knows me. Oh, happy, happy, happy. That's what they call me. So yeah, see, I just ran into like 2 Egyptians now, and they were just saying, oh, like, are you doing a vlog and things like that. I just don't record people because it's just weird. Okay, for me, like, I'm awkward when it comes to that. I don't think they will be, but I'm just awkward. So people always ask, like, why are you always alone? Like, there's typically people with me, but you won't see them. Okay, but for the most part, if I'm around somebody else, you guys pretty much don't see them on the content. It's just weird. Like, hey, let me put a camera in your face. Okay, so next thing. I was talking about police presence. I was talking about, cost of living. So yeah, like, I feel like if you have a budget of $450 US dollars a month, you can find something pretty nice in most areas. If you can up that budget to like $650 maybe, you can find something ultra nice, right? And there's, again, you can get an unfurnished place, an unfurnished property, and those are always going to be cheaper. If you go for the furnished route, which I'm a furnished kind of guy, I like the ease of use of having a furnished property. And so I always recommend you guys, when you're moving to another country, to get a furnished spot if it's possible, if it's available. So let me dip back into these bushes. Let me get off the main street so it'll be more quiet. Yes, that's what I recommend. I'll probably leave that in the video too, right? I'm a human being. People gotta remember that. I'm a civilian. Now, with that being said, cost of living, groceries, I've been eating out a lot. If I eat out, it's around $10 a day. So $10 a day times, let's say, eat out 6 days a week, $60 a week on food. So cut that in half. Let's say $30 a week on groceries, and you can probably eat well, for sure. One thing you'll see is there's a lot of cars. Okay, I mentioned that already. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is if you live in Cairo, you need a freaking car, okay? Because Medinity is far out. Medinity is like 20 minutes at least from the main set of New Cairo. And the main set of New Cairo is probably 30 minutes away from Old Cairo. And so you're going to need transportation. I happen to not have transportation in this city, and this city is too busy and too crowded to drive my motorcycle here. It's just, I don't feel comfortable doing that per se. So you would want to get a car if you live in this on this side. Cars are not the cheapest thing in Egypt, especially if you're somebody like me who's like a car head. I enjoy cars, and I can't just drive any and every kind of car. I got to drive a car that's gonna make me feel excited to get inside of it. And so I got to drive a car that'll make me excited to get inside, right? And so yeah, I haven't had necessarily any luck with finding a good car for me down this side, but they are available. They're just way overpriced, right? So a car that I can buy for, let's say, $2,000 in the States will be like $7,000 here, to give you guys a reference. And I think it has to do with like imports and taxes and things like that. But yeah, so it just hasn't been worth it for me to buy a car here. So so there's a good chance you're gonna spend a lot of money on Uber. Now, there is a bus system out here that you can use, and it's relatively low cost. So you could use that and just rely on a bus system, but that's not my preferred way of transportation, is taking a bus. I know my hair is kind of crazy. But last time I got braids, we used what's that thing called? A pressing comb, I think, and it kind of like left my hair with some heat damage, and so I really got to repair it for a second, get my curl pattern back, you know, little jazz like that, you know. I normally always used to keep my hair short, so I'm learning how to manage long hair. So yeah, that's the thing about cars. That's the thing about transportation. You're probably going to want to buy a car when you're here. So if you plan on moving this side, I would say, hey, get a little extra budget for a car, and have that prepared. In my city, motorcycle is perfectly fine. There's really only like 2 main streets. It's a very small city, and it's easy to drive my motorcycle there with no problem. A motorcycle is like $1,000, $1,000, and you're in the door. All right, so let's talk about some of the last things that I want to mention to you guys. And that is like, what are the things you can do down this side? So here, of course, there's a lot of places to just go out for a walk. Let's say you're a couple, maybe you're married, maybe you have children, maybe you have a dog, okay? There's a sign here about dogs, like walk your dog on a leash, don't put them off leash and stuff. Maybe you have dogs. It's always a good time to go for a walk. Wouldn't you agree? On top of that, there are a lot of children play centers here. There's a really big mall. I already have a tour of on my channel, but I'm going to re-update that tour, called Open Air Mall. Really big mall. Plan on hopefully doing that, y'all willing, on Sunday. So there's activity. So people go to the malls a lot. People will go for walks quite often. Movie theaters quite often. Sometimes kids will play outside, ride their bikes and stuff. Something for the youth to do. Now, I was never aware of it being like a big party scene, a big party culture, but I've started to meet people recently who are like from other countries that move here and are like, oh no, there's a huge party scene in Cairo, which I didn't know about. So people were putting me onto that. But yeah, there's a huge party scene with like Africans who move over this side. They throw parties and host parties. So you know, I'm not a party person too much, but you know, maybe if there's one that I'm around, I can try to record something like that for you guys. I don't know. So yeah, that is how that goes. Okay. So I think that's pretty much my review of everything. You know, of living in New Cairo. Do I recommend it? Sure, 100% recommend it. I think this is a better four-way to get into versus moving down to where I am. New Cairo is just more modern. Okay, you're gonna have access to more things. You're gonna have access to more people. There's more resources here. So yeah, I don't think moving to New Cairo is a bad idea. Would I go to Medinity? It depends if you're like somebody who's just chill, laid back. I think Tagoma is a good area. I think it's just New Cairo as a whole. As long as you're somewhere in New Cairo, even if it's El Rahab, is better than you know, Old Cairo. So that's what I would say. And there's other areas of Egypt you can move to. I hate sometimes making videos about where I live, because then it encourages people to come where I am, and what people don't understand is like where I am works for me because that's just where I'm supposed to be. right? But you may not be me. Well, you may not. You can't be me. You're not me, right? And so things may not always work out smoothly for you. And so I always try to recommend people, like, when they're like, oh, I'm coming to El Mundo, I try to tell them, like, what are you coming to Egypt for? Okay, like, explain to me that first. Because if you're just coming because you see, oh, well, he has an apartment that he pays $167 a month for, his other apartment he pays $85 a month for, I want that. It's like, no, there has to be more to your reasoning than just that, because there's so many things that I have to sacrifice that I don't mind sacrificing, that it's like, it's nothing to me, but it may be a very big deal to you. And so I'm always trying to help people to kind of figure out where might be best for them. And so never just move to a city because there's a YouTuber who you relate to that's there. You know, try to really figure out, okay, why am I even moving? Why am I even leaving America? Why am I even leaving the country that I'm in to come to this next country? And what do I hope to get? What's my aim out of this country, right? And so if your aim is just to move out of America, this is like a very smooth spot to do that, like in a place like New Cairo, right? So anyway, that's what I got for you guys. See you all in the next one. Y'all willing. Shalom.